What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And finally, we have the information for Kaido. We've been waiting for so long. Obviously, they've officially announced it quite a while back, and we knew it was coming, we just didn't know when. And we're just hoping day by day, we're hoping it was going to be the day, and finally it's here, and we can talk about this absolutely phenomenal Super Sugo Fest exclusive character. And I think just by the brief read that I've had of this unit, I think that this character is very close to being a top 5 best legend in the game. He is amazing. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into the breakdown. First thing is first though, I do want to show off his special animation, which was on the Japanese side on Twitter. The special animation obviously looks really good. This is the Japanese one, obviously, so the text is all in Japanese, but still really cool to see that. And we don't currently have the information for the 6+ Gear 5 yet. We might also get that today. If we do, expect a video on that. But you can also see that there's going to be some new rare recruits here, or free-to-play units. So there is the new treasure map unit that we're all farming for. This is actually Kanjuro in his fire ghost form. And then you've also got Fukurokuju, which is kind of fascinating. So we'll wait and see what that's all about. But we're here to talk about Kaido. So let's have a brief have a look at what Kaido is doing here. So first of all, Kaido is a strength powerhouse driven rush unit with EX Super. It's what a lot of people predicted. A lot of people predicted he was going to be strength and obviously powerhouse and driven focused. A lot of people predicted it was going to be a Rush Sugo special. I also had the prediction myself that I feel like this was going to be an inverse of Gear 5 Luffy, in the fact that this guy was also going to be a 6x captain to class and type. And that's exactly what he is. So we'll talk about his captain ability here. So the first bit of his captain ability: Strength and Powerhouse receive -2 cooldown at the start of the quest, 5.75 times attack, but you get a 6x attack boost if you have a Wano slot. So that's pretty interesting. And it does mean that you still need to find ways to generate a tandem slot, because obviously in like Super Boss Kizuna, you want to be doing as much damage as you possibly can. And you can do that when you have Super Tandem activated. So you're still going to have to try and find ways to get these tandem slots, and obviously the new free-to-play treasure map unit is capable of doing that, but they don't have the best super tandem ever. It's only a 1.5 bonus, right? So you have to take that into consideration. Furthermore, boost the HP by 1.5, deals 500 times his attack in strength damage to all enemies at the end of the turn. Shout out to my man V1 Kaido bringing it back, as well as changing dex slots into Wano slots. So that's also pretty big, so you just get more naturally occurring Wano slots. And then, this is interesting too, tapping on this character with a Wano slot will reduce the duration of all enemy barriers by 1 turn, applies ignited status to all enemies for 3 turns, ignoring immunity to all status effects. And this is a 150 times ignited effect as well. And then it furthermore says, and when taking damage from the enemy, applies increased damage taken status to all enemies for 10 turns, and it's a 2 times increased damage taken effect. It does mention here, there's a little bit of jargon here, just talking about that it will show 11 turns, but after a preemptive attack it goes down to 10. So what it means is if you enter a stage and the enemy inflicts damage to you with their preemptive attack, whether it be a health cut or like a damaging effect of whatever kind, during that preemptive it will then apply increased damage taken to the enemy, and that ignores status effects, right? Applies increased damage taken status to all enemies, ignoring immunity to all status effects. Yeah, that's so crazy. So anytime you take damage, they get 2 times increased damage taken. If you tap with a Wano slot, you remove barriers by 1 and apply ignited status to them. And then you've got very high multipliers in attack, HP, cooldown reduction, naturally occurring Wano slots. Captain ability wise, this is pretty freaking good so far. Like, this is a very usable captain that will see lots and lots of play. This is so good. Briefly, we've got the crewmate abilities here. It says that powerhouse characters get base stat boost, and then when you tap on him with a Wano slot, further increased damage taken by +0.2. It's a good crewmate ability, but I don't know how often you're going to be able to apply this to the enemy, unless if there's a way to switch Kaido out from the captain position and then apply it that way. Seems a bit weird in my eyes. But dude, captain ability wise, this is very strong. So Kaido's special says that if the enemy with the highest max health on the field has 1 million or more HP, then he does 1 million fixed damage to all enemies, bypassing everything including normal attacks only. but then it says that if the enemy with the highest HP is below 1 million, he just kills everyone. So that's pretty cool, just instant defeat. Because the thing is in a treasure map sense, this is going to be a very good captain in treasure map, because you can use his special to wave clear, which is faster than tapping and then using his wave clear captain. You can just instantly kill everything. So I think this is going to be a good unit to keep in mind for future usage for speed farming senses, because not only is he going to be super good offensively, but speed farming he's going to be very solid too. Then he boosts strength and powerhouse orbs by 2.75 for 2 turns. But then it says Wano slots get a buff by 3x. So this is fascinating. This is the first type of thing we've seen here that, you know, we saw with Gear 5 Luffy. He gave like a bigger orb and affinity boost to units that were both Psi and Free Spirit, and then a smaller buff to units that were either just Psi or just Free Spirit. But now we've got Kaido, as you can see here, or just giving them an orb boost. But then if a unit is Strength and Powerhouse that has a Wano slot, then you get a 3 times boost to that slot instead. So it's pretty fascinating, but I do feel like a 3 times bonus isn't overly amazing for a Super Sugo Fest exclusive, right? For one of their main buffs to only be a 3x boost, I feel like that is a little bit on the lower end. I could be wrong here, I could just be overlooking something here, but that does seem a little bit low. But obviously this does get amplified with the other additional effects. If this character is one of your captains, if he's in the top row when you launch the special, boosts damage dealt to increase damage taken enemies by 3 times for 2 turns. 3 times conditional boost, dude? Do you have any idea how good that is? Because, like, most conditional boosts that we get these days are like a 2.25. We had the Legend Queen come out in the anniversary period. He was a 2.5 conditional boost. But this is a 3 times conditional boost. So I guess that offsets the lower orb boost, I feel. A 3 times conditional boost is no joke, dude. And the fact that it lasts for 2 turns, I think, is actually kind of significant, because if the enemy has an intimidation, which removes like 1 turn of a conditional boost, this can offset that. So I do think that this is pretty good, and you're supposed to use this with the lead performers character, which allow you to extend the duration of conditional boost. I believe that's what they did. So that's really great. But it says even if you use the special when you're not the captain, you still get a 2.75 conditional boost against increased damage taken 1 turn otherwise. So this is obviously great because you have the captain ability, which says when you take damage, you inflict increased damage taken to the opponent. So it means that you have this special that can provide a conditional boost against that, which, as we know, stacks very well with that Linlin character that can double stack conditional boost. Linlin gives you a conditional boost as well. It's all coming together, you know, it's all coming together. So fixed damage, big orb boost, especially if you have a Wano slot, and then a huge conditional boost against increased damage taken. Now the thing is if the enemy doesn't do damage to you, you can't inflict increased damage taken to the opponent, but they offset that with his EX Super, which is right here. The EX Super is a little bit annoying because you do need to have these 2 characters on the crew, and you cannot use him as a crewmate, so he has to be the captain. And it says that it can be Big Mom, King, Jack Queen, Orochi, and then any of the other guys from the Toby Roppo. You also have Kanjuro too, which is interesting. But the EX Super is very long. You get -1 cooldown to the top row. Or no, it's just the whole crew. The whole crew gets -1 cooldown, but then the top row slots are changed into Wano. It doesn't go through block slots though. Applies increased damage taken to all enemies, 1.75 for 1 turn, ignoring immunity to status effects, right? That's crazy. So you get a guaranteed increased damage taken inflicted with the EX Super, and then it further increases all enemies' increased damage taken effect by 0.25. Effect applies to the increased damage taken boost from this super type. So what it means is it's just a 2 times increased damage taken to the opponent. But the really cool thing is that if the enemy in their preemptive had done damage to you, you inflict a 2 times increased damage taken effect, which means that when you use this EX Super, you can actually buff that one to a 2.25 increased damage taken. But either way, you're getting a minimum 2 times increased damage taken, but you have the potential to get 2.25 if the enemy did damage to you with their preemptive attack. So I like that. It means no matter what scenario you're in, you're always going to be able to inflict increased damage taken and get a conditional boost against that at a 3 times multiplier when he's the captain, of course, which is just incredibly strong. And then obviously powerhouse becomes super powerhouse and strength becomes super strength. So it's an inverse of Luffy, where you had Luffy for Psi Free Spirit, Kaido is for strength and powerhouse, right? It's very strong, very, very strong across the board here. I have no complaints thus far. This unit seems incredible, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this guy. So we move on to the support effect, which is a little underwhelming, but it is 18% of his attack is added to the supported unit, which is not amazing. We were kind of expecting something a bit better than this, but to be fair, I don't think it's that bad, because 18% attack is incredibly high. But then we move on to the Rush Sugo special, which is very important. So you've got the condition for the Rush. You can only use it on the final stage if this character performs the second or the third tap of an attack, and any two of the following characters are on the crew. So it's the same list of characters essentially that were required for his EX super. I believe, yeah, and Okandro is also there, Fukuro as well. So final battle, second or third attack of a chain is actually kind of fascinating, because what it means is like you can't start the chain and get a super tandem. And, you know, ideally what you want to do is if Kaido was a part of a super tandem chain and he was the first to attack, you could use your next two taps to trigger a super tandem. But because he's the second or third attack, you have to be very cautious in terms of how you deal with it. I think they've placed it in such a way where it's actually kind of difficult to apply super tandem and rush by using Kaido as one of your characters a part of that chain. It makes it a little bit more annoying for sure, but when you have a look at what the Rush does, the Rush effect says here, each tap of Rush does 20,000 damage at level 5, it's probably 25,000 at level 1. You get 7 taps up as your max potential, but the actual finish tap effect, strength and powerhouse characters receive a 1.5 attack boost, which is very strong. I believe Rush Sugo Sanji at level 5 was a 1.4 bonus. Could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it was 1.4. And the finish tap multiplier is 1.0. Rush Sanji was 0.8. And this is a lot different from Gear 5 Luffy, because Gear 5 Luffy only gave the buffs to himself, and at the recording of this video, I don't have the information for Gear 5 Luffy and his super evolution, so that may change. But we know Gear 5 Luffy was a self-centered character with his Rush Sugo special, whereas this Rush Sugo allows you to buff other strength and powerhouse units on your team, so I like that. I like that there's multiple ways that this can be used. And I think that this is going to add a massive amount of damage to your team. And if you can partner this up with a super tandem or a final tap, it's going to be amazing, right? So this is going to do a lot of damage at level 5, no doubt. So that's the full rundown of Kaido's normal kit. So basically, he's like V1 Kaido with his normal captain, you know, wave clearing, cooldown reduction, high multipliers, generating Wano slots. If you tap with Wano, you remove barriers, you inflict ignite status. If you take damage, you inflict increased damage to the opponent. You have an EX super that can inflict it back to the opponent, and all of these going through all immunity, by the way, which makes it even better. And then a special that does good fixed damage, or that can wave clear, or boosting, massive conditional boost. Don't really think there's much wrong with this kit. At the moment, it seems to be one of the best units in the game, at least on paper from what I've seen. Now, before we wrap up the video, we still have the Rumble stuff to go through. Have a look at the sprite of this new Kaido. He looks amazing, dude. And I think that it's really cool what they've done, because he is a strength-focused character. So it's nice that strength get a bit of a buff. And this might be one of the first Kaidos we've seen that's actually good in Rumble. I guess, you know, V2 Kaido, the quick one that came out, he was still relatively good in Rumble, but you know, we had a lot of Kaidos that have released and they haven't been really that great. So I think this Kaido is actually pretty solid. So we have a look here that his special is a 34 CT, so definitely on the higher end, but a large range 4 times attack. It's really good. And then 3,000 fixed damage is also applied to those units. And then it says that when the remaining HP of himself is 50% or lower, he targets one enemy with high special CT, ignoring defense for 2 times attack. When he's below 50%, that's probably going to kill something. That's a lot of freaking damage, dude. So special's actually pretty good. I don't have really too many problems with that at all. We move on to the Rumble ability. Strength, get level 6 attack, 6 speed, 6 health, 6 recovery. I think that's actually kind of understated, because you got like Legend Toki, for example, who can be a recovery kind of unit on your strength team, so this could work with that. Then you've got when his health is below 50%, he gives himself level 3 CT speed up. That's amazing. So again, I don't really have any problems with this. I think this is pretty good. Strength needed some support, so I'm really glad that they're getting it, you know? And then he does have GP stuff. So you have to tank 60,000 damage, which I believe is the opposite of Gear 5 Luffy, where Gear 5 Luffy, you had to deal 60,000 damage, I think. And this guy, you have to take 60,000 damage. And the effect says targets all enemies for 4 times leader's base attack, 2 times, and after 30 seconds have passed, he targets all enemies for 3,500 fixed damage. The fact that there's no half stats, no damage through defense, means that I don't think this is going to see a lot of play, unfortunately. This is going to do good damage, no doubt in my mind, but when you have a character as good as Gear 5 Luffy, as a Rumble leader, as a Grand Party leader, I don't think this guy's going to see a hell of a lot of play. And then when you use him in Grand Party as a leader, he gives buffs to strength. Some CT speed up for strength is good. Int gets some good stuff here too. HP, speed, critical, and powerhouse receive, recovery, and defense level 4. So I don't think he's going to see a lot of play in Grand Party, but I think in normal strength teams, this is going to be a mainstay unit, I feel. He seems really good rumble ability, good special. Seems pretty solid overall. But I'm excited, dude. I am very, very much excited to get my hands on this unit, play around with him, and try and build some solid teams to do really good damage in the potential upcoming Kizuna Clash super boss that we are expecting to arrive. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about Kaido down below in the comment section. This unit seems absurd. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.